I invested in Bitcoin. It was like $496.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I had like a 7,000% ROI on my money. I would highly suggest to go reach out to someone like him, reach out to someone like me, who, you know, you can sell yourself to, get an opportunity to kind of learn, get in a hot seat, and then at one point say, okay, I think I'm ready to fly. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to want to fly. You're going to be like, oh, hey, this is great.
What's a good number for them to like say, make sure you have this much money before you actually start doing something big, like a big purchase?
But I do think that you should be comfortably, like me. I like when I was coming up, it was always like, I need to have
Triumph from tragedy, the way I overcome the devil mad at me. Farmer like faith, had to plant the seed. Now I work hard, we never take it for granted. We live into a standard, pass it down until it's mastered. I made it from a pallet to a palace and a castle. You can do it too, it's not too much for you to handle. It's that motivation, it's that fire.
Everybody, so on today's show, we have none other than Tino Hernandez. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? Hey, I'm super excited to be here. It's kind of last minute, and I'm just grateful to be here, man.
Man, so like we just kind of connected on social media, on Instagram, and kind of seeing what you're doing. And I was like, I'm gonna hit this guy up, see if he wants to come on. And so I'm stoked that you came on. You know, you got like about 1,000 times more followers than me, probably 5,000 more followers than me, 5,000 times actually. So it's super cool. But you're a busy guy, dude. Like I'm watching you, and I'm like, this guy's in this business, this guy's in that business, and like. What is it you actually do?
I do a lot of things. It's crazy because a lot of people ask me that. Like they'll, you know, I put my Instagram. I'm always marketing. First of all, I'm a marketing and a sales guy. So I'm always marketing. Got my Instagram on my car, and people will follow me, and then they lurk on my page, like my stuff, and then they'll text me like, "What do you actually do?" I'm like, "It's in my bio."
Yeah.
And they're like, "There's 5 different things there." I'm like, "Yeah, I do all 5 different things." So I own a real estate company here on Central and Thomas, downtown. I have a call center in Egypt with about 390 employees out there. I have a brick-and-mortar franchise called JAX WAX over here on 43rd Avenue in Indian School, my partner George. And I have a consulting company with my brother. Mainly it's just like mentorships and education, stuff like that. And then I have a brain pill called Infinity, so nootropic. So I do a lot of different things.
So the brain pill, is that gonna make people smarter? Is it like a healthy type
Honestly,
thing?
it's really good. It's got like lion's mane, a little bit of caffeine in it. It enhances focus, huge amounts of focus. We're in like One Stop Nutritions and a couple GNCs out here already.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm working on getting it into Walmart.
Just get it in Walmart, bro.
But that's
cool.
what I want, man. I want to sell it wholesale, you know?
So focus. So like the part of it is like to help people focus mentally.
Right. Have you ever seen the movie Limitless?
Yes.
Where he takes a little clear pill and like the guy's like,
Yeah.
So one of las pilas, and he's like boom, 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 and he's smarter, and he's playing the stock market. So it's kind of like that. I have a really bad caffeine habit. And honestly, I'm going through Ramadan right now. I actually broke it today because I'm like, I'm gonna need something like this. But I've kind of weaned myself off. But I typically take like 400 to 600 milligrams a day of caffeine, which is probably not the healthiest thing. But let me put this on vibrate. I apologize. But with this stuff, I don't need to take any caffeine. It's pretty cool. It's honestly really good, and it's just. I feel more productive. I don't know if it's a placebo effect. It's not, because we hired chemists out of Atlanta, Georgia to kind of formulate everything. Did a lot of testing. And then before we went to market, we had this issue with the FDA banning certain compounds. So then we had to restart it. It was just, the whole thing was a nightmare, but we're good now. And it does work. It's interesting. It's really interesting because my brother's like obsessed with it. He hasn't stopped. So he's been taking it daily for, I want to say, like a good 2 years, even though we've only been around for about 1 year, actually, like live. Yeah. But it works. It's good stuff.
So, no, but that makes sense though. What you're saying is like the placebo part of it, because I know like whenever I do something, especially I've been working on my health, my fitness since the beginning of last year. I've lost like 40 something pounds.
No way.
Going to the gym a lot every day. And so I'm learning a lot about the fitness world.
Yeah.
But, I know like whenever I take something or do something, just the fact that my mind is saying to do this, it's like 50% of the work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's weird how it happens that way. I mean, I just started getting back into fitness. I was in the Army for 7 years before getting out or whatever and going into corporate America. And I was in really good shape. Like I just started gaining weight, got into sales, started making money, started eating like trash, working long hours. And off and on, I've had like a issue with like food. I love food. Boy, it's my favorite thing in the world to do is eat and to share good meals with people. Mm-hmm. So it's been tough. I've been working out now consistently with the trainer. I want to say since like October, so 5 months now.
Yeah, you're in good shape, bro.
Thank you, man. I'm trying. I'm getting back. I think it's just muscle memory. Yeah, because I used to be a pretty stout guy, had 6-pack and all that good stuff, and hopefully I can see my abs here pretty soon. I got a little 4-pack, but not there yet.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's real good. So you're wholesaling. You got the pills. You got the chemicals for detailing.
Yep.
The Egyptian stuff. What's going on in Egypt, man? How'd you end up in Egypt?
It's funny. So I've been in real estate. I wholesale. What we do is we get off-market properties direct to seller for a discounted price. Mm-hmm. So one of the best marketing channels, I've tried them all, is cold calling. Just because if you have a team, you want to feed the guys leads, you want to keep them busy, you want to keep them motivated, and that's the most bang for your buck as far as like lead volume.
Yeah.
I've tried Mexicans, and I am Mexican. I've tried Argentinians, Costa Ricans. I tried, Filipinos. I've tried all of them, and the Egyptians have just been the best. They, for the most part, they have like a British accent. It's weird. It's kind of like they got like an English, like they're from England accent, but they do really good. And they provide my team with leads and a bunch of, our clients. We have clients in real estate. We have clients in insurance. We have clients in roofing, flooring, every industry.
So you're saying your clients they're hiring you to make these cold call leads?
Yeah. So because I'm pretty good at sales.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of known for in the industry is I can like talk to the client, right? Find out it is what their needs and wants are.
Okay.
Right. Try to poke holes in it and see if there's anywhere we can kind of, adjust, fire, and fix, and then come up with a sales script for them to generate leads.
Yeah.
So
bring the leads back to the.
So I'll create a sales script with my team. We'll beta test it a little bit, and then I'll bring it to the client and say, hey, check it out. This is what we got based on the criteria. What is a qualified lead to you?
Yeah.
This is where I need to be on the script. And we just go to town, and I'll pull data, skip trace the data, put it in a dialer, and have these guys knocking out 600 calls a day. And
so when they get the lead, so you get, say someone gets a lead,
mm-hmm.
and they're a roofing company, right?
Yeah.
So your guy from Egypt calling, hey sir, blah 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 blah, right? Do they immediately switch over the call, or do they like, okay, we're gonna have someone else call you?
It depends. It depends on the client. Some clients want warm transfers, meaning like live, and then they'll patch it through. And we'll have like what we do is we set up a system where it's like a round robin, where we'll have one. We'll use call row. It'll have one phone number that the cold callers will route that phone number to. It'll ring there, and it'll ring to all the sales guys at once. And the first guy to answer the phone pop in that wherever they're at gets that deal. You can do it that way, or we can set up an appointment, or we can say, hey, within the next 24 hours, one of our roofing specialists is going to give you a call.
Yeah. So the Egyptians are closing the deals as well.
You can. Some of them are closing deals. Those cost a little bit more money, and we spend a lot more time training them.
Yeah, because you got to train them. That's a whole different level.
Yeah, because they're not just piquing interest.
They're not just taking info.
Yeah. Right. They're taking it to the finish line.
And you're like, hey, you want to make some money? Here's what we got to do.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
I like it. I'm still new into the sales. I mean, I see it from afar, but there's a lot of technique to it for sure. Everybody who thinks they can go into sales and start just banging on.
And you've been in business for a long time, so I'm sure like you get a lot of referral based business and repeat customers, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But as far as marketing, do you do any marketing?
No.
Really?
No.
Dang.
I mean, LinkedIn, like Instagram. I'm new to Instagram, about a year and a half on Instagram, but LinkedIn's I do a lot of like just post.
Yeah.
It's just like it's different. I'm in the commercial industry, so it's kind of like you do a good job.
It's relationship based.
Yeah, kind of. And then there's it's a little bit different. We're bidding on different opportunities. but marketing, it just looks different, man, because like you're dealing with
Yeah, I'm dealing direct to consumer. Like
consumer, you have to, but when you deal with businesses, you got to do it different. Like you got to go and buy them lunch, and
it's relationship based.
Yeah,
it's like being a banker or something.
Exactly, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I was a finance manager in car dealership world for a while, and that was kind of how it is. Like I'd call my favorite bank and say, "Hey, Todd, I got a juicy one for you. It's 750 credit score, a bullet." But I wrote them at 5.99 interest rate. So they're like, oh yeah. But you got to take this 580 credit score that they wrote at 9.99, and then we package it up and get them both.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I get that, the relationship business, relationship based business.
Yeah. I always tell people it's like indirect sales.
Yeah.
You're more direct. Boom, boom. I'm more like indirect. It's a lot of emails, visiting, meetings,
a lot of, I have a guy.
Yeah. Stuff like that. So you're doing all this stuff. Where'd you grow up at? Where were you born
I grew up in San Diego.
Okay, San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego, born and raised. I'm first generation here. Both my parents are from Guadalajara, Jalisco.
Okay.
Yeah. And my mom was adopted. She was crossed over. So we don't have like a huge family. We never had a huge family because we don't really know our family.
Yeah.
But we born and raised in San Diego. My mom.
Hey, sometimes that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing because it's a gift and a curse. I always say that you can't choose your family.
Yeah, you got this crazy wacko cousins and aunts and
right.
stuff. Yeah.
All my cousins are like, I love them to death. They're all like cholos. They're in jail or they're like, getting caught up for charges. Got ankle monitors and shit.
Yeah.
But as far as like that goes, we moved out here my senior year of high school. I went to Agua Fria. Okay. And then graduated from there and immediately joined the Army.
What year did you join the Army?
2004.
Okay. Yeah. So you were like 18, 19, 20?
18.
18. Right out of high school. Graduated
right out of high school. I actually graduated at 17 years old. And then during the summer, I was 18 and I was in the delay entry program. I got a job for, I want to say 3.5 weeks at Safeway. And then after that, it was like time to go. And I was in the Army for 7 years. Deployed.
What'd you do in the Army?
I did Intel for 1.5 years and then SF for 5 years.
Okay.
So it was a good experience. It was a good time. I learned a lot. I grew up extremely fast. I was a mama's boy growing up.
Yeah.
Single mom, all that shit, And so I had to like kind of just fend for myself. It taught me the ability, the core values of being on time, showing up, ready to go, having your mind right 24/7, and not one person is bigger than the team. So I learned a lot during that time, made a lot of friends, lost a lot of friends, and that's why ultimately I got out. So it was just time to move on. I got out and I started going to school. Well, I started going to school, and during summer school, I was undergrad for to be a plastic surgeon. So I was majoring in biology. Yeah. I wanted to do not, butts and nose jobs. I wanted to do like burn victims and skin grafts. Because when I was over there, I got to see a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the damage.
Yeah. And I wanted to like kind of help people more so than anything. But it was a great experience. But anyway, during summer school, me and my brother are sitting playing Call of Duty. And he's like, hey, man, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to have to get a job. I'm like, yeah. The GI Bill, like, it pays, but it doesn't pay enough to, like, live. Yeah. It pays enough to just barely survive. And he's like, you can do SWAT. And you can be DEA or something like that. And I didn't want to do anything like that. I didn't want to hold a weapon anymore.
Yeah, you're done.
I was just tired of that. So I told him people don't get jobs because they're so scared of stepping out of the comfort zone. And so what I ended up doing is just picking up the iPad. We had been drinking a little bit, Mickey's Bombers. And I pulled up the iPad, and back then you used to be able to find jobs on Craigslist. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. And so this was like around, I want to say 2012, January 2012, end of 2011, around there. Okay. And I look up jobs. First thing that pops up is selling cars. And so I clicked that. I called. I set up an interview. And 2 days later, I went to the interview. The guy that hired me was a veteran himself, a Marine. So he gave me a shot, and the rest was history. I learned sales and got really good at that, and slowly started moving up. I started my first month, I think I made like $1,500, which was the base. And then after that, I topped out. My biggest year was like 430,000.
That's good.
Yeah, as a W-2. But I mean, but you're working so much.
Yeah,
like, it was crazy, man. It just, I wasn't present for my family, you know. At that point, like, I made some investments in 2014 that came to fruition 2017. I invested in Bitcoin when it was like $496.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I had like a 7,000% ROI on my money and ended up just quitting. And I'm like, man, I'll figure it out. Worst case scenario, I can go back to any popsicle stand right here on Camelback and get another job.
Yeah.
know? So ever since then, I've kind of been on my own. I wanted to learn real estate. So I went and worked at a real estate firm here locally in Phoenix for years. Honestly, for years. It started off me doing real estate. I did it for 5 weeks. I did 33 deals in my first 5 weeks with no training, nothing, just applying my sales tactics I learned in the car business in real estate wholesaling. And then from there, on the 5th week, I found out that my ex-wife was cheating on me.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I ended up filing for divorce. I took like a month and a half off. I was contemplating on moving to South America, getting a nanny, and, you know, just starting life over. I had 7 figures in my bank account.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll just figure it out. But my mom and my brother were like, no, you got to stay here. We're your support system. We're going to help you out. And so I ended up just staying. And long story short, I was an entrepreneur for a long time, making good money.
Yeah.
But finally, I branched out on my own at the end of 2021. So I haven't been
recently.
Yeah, I haven't been in business for myself, like completely for myself, for a very long time, honestly.
And so you've worked for all these different people. I like the fact that you went through these different industries. You kind of seen your like projecting type thing, which you learn different industries, what they do, what they don't do, how they do the deals, all that stuff. And now that you're on your own, what's the difference you see from working for someone, an entrepreneur versus an entrepreneur? Because people want to know these things. They're like, they want to be the boss. Some people can't handle being the boss.
Everybody wants to be the boss. So it's time to be the boss, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I personally was never the guy who would be like, oh, if I was in charge, I would do this. Like, I never was like that. I always gave my input, and I think I was just like smart enough and a valuable asset that people that I work for would listen to me, or at least take my input and try to expand on it. But as far as like people, like the social media has painted being an entrepreneur this outlandishly beautiful like mirage of a lifestyle. Like not everyone has a beautiful commercial building like this, right? Yeah. Not everyone is extremely successful and rich and good looking. Like it doesn't happen like that. But social media says, "Oh yeah, quit your job, pursue your dreams. You're gonna be rich." It's not that. It's not. It's fucking hard.
Yeah,
it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of kids and younger people get fixated on what other people are doing. That they're like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the boss." And it's like, no, just go work for somebody. That's what you should do first, especially if you're starting off in an industry. Go work for somebody. Go learn. Go get an education, right? OJT, and commit. I always, when I hire people in my industry, in the real estate agents, real estate industry for wholesaling, I tell them, hey man, just give me 6 months. I'll teach you everything ins and out. After 6 months, if you want to leave, I'll support you 100% as long as you do it the right way. Yeah. I'll help you out closing deals, doing this. I'll plug you in with my resources. Just do it the right way. I want you to learn, because what a lot of times what happens is people will come in, they'll learn a little bit, because I only have them doing one task. I just need them to close deals. I don't need them to market the deals, sell the deals, none of that stuff, right? So they think, man, I just closed this deal. I made a $35,000 deal. And I get paid 20%. Like this guy made 80%.
Yeah, they want that now.
Yeah. Yeah. So then what happens is they start, they want to do it on their own. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. They quit or whatever. And they realize, oh shit, you mean these leads aren't free? You mean after I just get the contract, I have to send a notary to take pictures, and I have to set up walkthroughs, and I have to coordinate the transaction. I have to talk to title. I have to do this. There's a lot of moving pieces that a lot of people don't account for. And I've been in that situation too when I was younger. Like, oh man, this sucks. The boss is just like showing up when he wants to show up and da 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 da.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you've had that before when you know, not every hire is a good hire. And, you know, I've had to go through that. I've kissed a lot of frogs before I got a couple of princes. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think that people just sometimes when they're getting into entrepreneurship need to step back and say, okay, everyone wants the guts and glory, which is cool, but make sure that when you're doing it and taking those risks, they're calculated. Mm-hmm. So I would highly suggest to go reach out to someone like him, reach out to someone like me who, you know, you can sell yourself to, get an opportunity to kind of learn, get in a hot seat. And then at one point say, okay, I think I'm ready to fly. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to want to fly. You're going to be like, oh, hey, this is great. This is great. How do I grow with you?
Yeah, because there's nothing wrong with being like a number 2, 3, or 4. And you have to look at like, okay, what's my lifestyle? Like I tell people, because people always ask me, you know, how to start a business. Should I start a business? Mm-hmm. All these different things. And so first I'm like, if they're married, will your marriage survive this?
Because that's a great point.
You right now you're working 8.5 hours, bro.
Yeah.
You're going to start working 16, 20, like you're not going to sleep for a bit.
Yeah.
If you want to make money, you know? And I'm like, will your marriage handle it? Are you like, what's your relationship with your kids? Like, how's your lifestyle? You know, because if you're like, if, you know, I don't want to, I'm trying to not say it bad, but like, if you're just about like, I guess this is going to sound bad, but like about your kids only or about your wife only, you're not going to be successful in business.
No, 100%.
You know, so there's a sacrifice. You got to give up, you got to give up time with your family. It sucks to say that, but it's the truth.
You do. When you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
And, you know, it like people say, I want work-life balance. Like that shit doesn't fucking exist.
No.
Like if you want work-life balance, then go get a job. And there's nothing not honorable about clocking in every day. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, social media has painted this beautiful picture that if you don't write your own checks, you're a brokey, you're a bum, you're this, you're dumb. No, man, that's so dumb. I just don't understand why society has kind of put that out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. A lot of people quit their jobs thinking that they're going to work less because they're the boss now. But in fact, you actually work way more because everything rests on your shoulders.
Well, now you have responsibilities. Like you start hiring people, you're responsible for their paychecks.
Their families.
Their families. Not only yours, their families. Then what happens is you start making a little money. You're responsible for your other family members that you don't want to be responsible for.
Yeah, your tias start coming out the woodwork.
And all these people, like you got to start taking care of a bunch of people, and that pressure starts, you know, piling on, and you're trying to do the right thing, and you know, then you gotta, like, as you grow, you gotta buy the right equipment or do the right process. You can't you know, cheap out on certain
cut
things.
Corners.
You know.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's okay when you're bootstrapping, but once you start growing and growing, like stuff gets more expensive. You have more, the responsibility is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I didn't want a team. I didn't want a big team. I was just like against it. I've led teams of 25 salespeople at one time. And, you know, I've trained hundreds and hundreds of salespeople over the years. And it's just a stressful situation because there's so many different cats. You can't pet them all the same. They all have their own issues. They all have, you know, personal stuff going on, and they want to come talk to you about it, and you inherit their stress.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're a good leader, you inherit their stress, you know, because you genuinely care for those people. But it is a tough situation, but entrepreneurship for sure. I would definitely start there if you can. I was a number 2 for a very long time. For a very long time. Had some of the best times of my life as a number 2. Traveled with the guy. We did a lot of things on stages. Had an amazing time. And I learned a lot. And I learned a lot of what to do. And I definitely learned a lot of what not to do. Of what kind of style I'm going to pull from, right? So just like that, you know, that set me up for the next chapter, which was leaving and starting businesses on my own.
Yeah. I mean, I like it because you know, the sales thing. For these young guys, these young women that are trying to get into sales, you know, what's your advice to them? Because there's so many industries to jump in, and there's stuff that's hot right now. Like, you know, the service industry is hot, roofing's hot, insurance is hot,
Solar's still cranking too.
Solar's cranking. You got wholesaling, and
yeah.
And I see these youngsters, they're just popping in and out of these different industries,
yeah.
and they're not getting good at any one. Like, what's your advice to them?
Water your fucking grass. That's it, man. Like everyone has this grand illusion that, oh, you know, like it's better over here, it's better over there, it's better over here. And instead of looking at the glass half full, they're looking at it half empty. Mm-hmm. I've had those type of negative Nancy salespeople. Sales, the industry as like the category as a whole is weird. Like the salespeople are very emotional. Good salespeople. They're very emotional animals, right? They're not very consistent. If they're consistent, then that means that they're not being pushed. And salespeople will have it's like 0 to 0, right? Especially if you're commission based only. At the end of the month, at the beginning of the month, it starts all over again. My advice to anybody looking to get into sales is to really perfect your craft, and to constantly be a student of the game. Like I'm constantly going to events, paying for mentors. Mm-hmm. I go on YouTube. I look at videos and podcasts that are sales related. I even record myself sometimes. Like if I'm on a sales call and it's for a contract for, you know, a $50,000 contract for a company, or if I'm doing a seller direct to seller deal, you know, for the wholesaling business, I'll record myself and I'll listen back and say, okay, well, this is where I messed up at. This is how I can get better. Let me try it again on this next call. You know what I should have said? But you constantly have to get better. Just jumping from industry to industry is not the best thing. It's not good because you're not actually sinking your roots in and learning the craft. And sales is, I mean, business in general is just two components always. It's always sales and marketing anyway. I think that's why I've been able to kind of, pop plants in different industries. But for the most part, most people they don't understand that you have to water your own grass. Yeah. I know I talk a lot, by the way. Like no, I'll start.
I'm listening. This is good stuff.
I'll go on a tangent, but then I'll bring it all together. So I just think that what people fail to realize is that, like, if you're in a situation where you have a good opportunity,
yeah,
make the most out of it. Every sales job that I had in the dealership world, people don't last more than like 3 months at a dealership.
Wow.
I've lasted 15 months at one, 2 years at one, 3 years at one. And it's just because I've always figured out a way to just break the pay plan. Like I always want to break it. Like, and I always encourage my salespeople, like I pay based on my industry, it's all relative, right? I pay super good when it comes to wholesaling, like super good. Most people pay like 5 to 7% of the deal. I pay 15%, 15%, 15%, 20%, and then 20% retro per month. And it's because I want my salespeople to be motivated to like push.
Yeah,
they make more money. I'm going to make more money. Yep. But I think that's where the issue is most salespeople just kind of get complacent in their own head. And they're like, they have a friend, little Johnny's over here selling insurance and he's crushing it and da 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 da. And then they quit and then they go there and they realize little Johnny's not really crushing it, or it's not all what it seems. And that's like the main thing.
And that's true. What you're saying is like, if you are, you're out there like, and you're thinking about this industry, that industry, pay attention to who you're learning from,
right?
Or who you think you're learning from.
Yep.
Because I'm telling you, like, I've interviewed not a lot of people, maybe 70 people now or something. And I start to learn who people are, what they do, who's around them, who has what, who doesn't have what, like real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put anyone on blast or any, like that. But I'm like, you got to really pay attention to who you're learning from, who actually has done it. And it's not always flashy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, it doesn't like I'm not flashy, honestly. I got a couple buildings, couple houses, nice house stuff, but I drive just a work truck. You're driving, you have nice cars and stuff. But it doesn't always look the same.
Yeah, everyone's version is different. It's funny. We were just talking about that before the camera started rolling. Is that like everyone's version of success is completely different, right? And what they like for me, my vice is watches and cars. Like I love watches.
Your deal.
I love cars. Like that's it. I don't do drugs. I don't have an alcohol problem. I don't party.
You have a caffeine problem.
I have a caffeine. Yeah, that I do have. Guilty. But I don't have any vices. You know what I mean? I'm not a womanizer. I'm married. I'm like, I just don't do anything. So for me, that's what genuinely brings me happiness. That and just going for a drive. But some people like yourself, you're extremely successful, but you're not flashy. You're not into that stuff, and it's fine. It doesn't mean that it's bad that you're not flashy. For me, I also use it as marketing. Like it's marketing.
Of course,
24/7.
Trust me, I've thought about it. I'm like, should I get a fancy, like a nice car to market? But I haven't got there yet.
Yeah, it's just for me, it's a conversation starter. I've always had watches, even before when I drove a $10,000 paid off car. I had a $24,000 watch.
The watch is more than your car.
Yeah.
What's your nicest watch you got?
My nicest watch I have is like this watch, but in rose gold, solid rose gold.
What is it? What do you?
It's an Audemars Piguet. This is a 15500 ST, which is the steel model. It's limited edition boutique blue. But I have a boutique blue 15400 OR, which is the designator for rose gold, solid rose gold. That's probably my favorite watch.
I think it looks
ever.
Expensive.
Thank you. It's. I mean,
it actually looks plain, but if you're here and you see the diamonds everywhere around them, you can tell it's expensive.
Yeah, and the crazy part is this one has no diamonds on it.
Yeah. No, but it looks solid. Like just looking
solid.
at it.
Yeah, it's got that's what they're known for. They have a really nice bracelet. It's always been my dream watch. It was designed by Gerald Genta. I'm a watch nerd. Like I know everything, but this is designed after like the old divers had that thing, and it was like made out of metal, and it had so that's what they're doing it from. And some people say that's from like a porthole, like a window hole on a ship. But I just love watches, and I have jewelry. My wife has a really nice wedding ring, so I'm like, well, I need a nice wedding ring.
I mean, jewelry is good though, because it doesn't like a lot of it don't lose value.
Yeah, you're just parking it.
Yeah, it's like even at the worst, it'll stay the same. It's like put it in a bank.
Exactly.
That's exactly.
And so cars, if another store of value, if they're nice cars, desirable cars, and you buy them right, if you buy them right, you make your money when you buy things, not when you sell it.
But even nice cars though, like you can, at the very least, you'll sell it for what you got it for if you got it right.
Exactly.
So you drove it free for 2 years.
I made money on every single car that I've owned except my Aston Martin. That was the only one that I lost money on.
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those brands that don't really hold their value. It's like Maserati. It's like the worst.
It's like when I think of I think the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Maserati's
That's
terrible.
in the whole Jaguar category too. They're just
they just drop like rocks. I've had a Maserati Gran Turismo. My brother drives a Quattroporte GTS right now. It's pretty cool. It's a nice car, but they just don't hold their value. It's the same, like the worst value holding vehicle of all time is like the BMW 7 Series. That the same thing. They just drop, like lose half their value immediately within the first 6 months to a year.
Yeah, because some people think, like I was telling my wife this is she's like, because I was asking her, I bought her a little SUV. Like there's a new Lexus SUV out. Okay. And I was like, well, what if I keep wanting to get a car, like something cool but not too expensive. Yeah. And she's like, well, I like the Porsche.
That's what my wife wants.
And so, but the one she wants is the one that loses the value the fastest.
It's the Taycan?
Well, it's the 4-door hatchback.
Yeah, it's Taycan.
Yeah,
Panamera.
Panamera. Or maybe the Cayenne, or I don't know.
No, it's
one of them. It loses the value the fastest.
Cayenne's SUV, so it's probably the Taycan's actually the one that's losing a lot. So it's Panamera is a hatchback. They're beautiful cars.
They're nice,
but they do lose.
They lose their value. So I told her, I said, well, if we did think about getting one, we definitely got to buy it used. Yeah. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, let somebody else take the hit. That's what I do. I learned my lesson. Like I've had Lamborghinis. I've had, everything, you name it. And being in the car business, I learned that you always buy used. You lease new. Yeah. And you're like, well, can't you only lease new cars? But it's crazy. A lot of these cars that are like exotics and supercars, like a lot of these entrepreneurs lease them, so they're paying. It blows my mind. I mean, everyone's different, right? But it's what's important to you and what your level of risk tolerance is. Like some people will put $50,000 down on a Lamborghini and pay $5,000 for 3 years and then not have anything to show for it. Have to give it back. And I think that's absolutely insane, but people do it all the time. For me, I'd rather just buy right, and then turn around trying to make profit on it. Plus, like, I don't know. I just love cars. At one point I was switching cars like every 8 months to 12 months.
What are you driving right now?
Right now I'm driving a Wraith, a Rolls Royce Wraith.
Is that what you're in right now?
Yep. That's what I'm in right now. It's right outside.
Does that have the, The lights in the
it has the starlights. Yeah. It's a cool car. It's a 2-door. I'm actually looking at buying a Cybertruck.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more and more of those.
Yeah.
They're all everyone throws the vinyl on them.
Yep. When they first came out, I was like, man, those things are kind of ugly. They're ugly as hell. It looks like a Roblox car. Ugly. And then after a while, it started kind of growing on me. And then I was on a podcast in San Diego last year. And I was thinking about buying a Tesla, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna Turo a Tesla that has the self-driving stuff, and just road trip with my camera guy and one of my best friends. So we did it. I rented a Model Y, and you put that thing on, and it just drive. Like you just put the address, press go, and it takes off.
Nice.
And it was the coolest thing ever. The only thing that sucked was you have to stop every whatever. It maps it all out, but you have to charge, and it's not so bad if you're just stopping and charging. But we're kind of big back, so we would stop somewhere and then we would go to a restaurant, eat and have some drinks and stuff. So by the time every stop was like an hour instead of
it took
12 minutes, 30 minutes. Yeah. So it wasn't like bathroom breaks. But as far as like the Cybertruck goes, when they first came out, they were so expensive. They're like 180,000, 160,000. I mean, it's a fucking, excuse me. It's like an $80,000 car, you know? But because when stuff first comes out, everybody wants to have it. Everybody wants to have it. So they overpay. It's like market adjustment. I have 2 friends that when the Hummer EV first came out, they live in California. They wanted to be the first people in California to have them. They both bought them for $250,000.
They're giving those away.
Yeah, they're
giving those away now.
Yeah, it's like I'm like, damn, that's a
you can lease those for $800.
Yeah, the lease on them is so good.
It's less than $1,000.
They're like, please take this fucking car.
Yeah, nobody wants them.
Right? Yeah, but you know, I don't know. The Cybertruck's cool. Like,
but have you been in a Cybertruck?
Yeah,
it's like there's nothing there.
No, it's nothing. It's just a steering wheel and
there's like
the screen.
nothing.
Yeah. It's so aesthetic. It's so nice.
They're
I like
badass.
It. I think they're cool.
I don't like the shape, but they're they're badass.
They're weird looking. It's just I don't know. I get this like weird hair up my ass where I'm like, oh, I'm like obsessed with this car. I'll go on YouTube. I'll watch videos on it forever. I mean, every car that I've bought, I always do that. Like it'll start with I see one on the street or I see it online or something, and I start watching videos on YouTube. And my favorite like car review guy is Doug DeMuro. I've been following him forever. He's out of San Diego, and I watch his videos, and then I watch like Top Gear videos and all these videos, and then before you know it, I'm like calling my car guy. I'm like, hey man, can you get me this car? Can you find me this? Da, 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 da. It's so cool. My shouts out to my car guy Elio. What he does is he owns a dealership in Scottsdale. It's pretty cool. Whenever I want a car, I'll tell him, hey, this is what I'm looking for. I'll send him a picture of it, and he'll do it for me. And hopefully he doesn't get in trouble for this, but he like fills out my credit app already based on my last one, does everything. He'll like negotiate it from the dealership over there, buy it, ship it over here. He'll have somebody come pick up my car if I'm trading it in from my house. I don't have to do shit literally, but sign like the last portion, the Law 13 contract or Law 25 contract or whatever it is now. And it's such an easy process, but I just love cars, man. I've been obsessed with cars since I was a kid.
Yeah, but I like that you're saying that though, but you're also saying is buy it right.
You buy it right.
You're like in the construction industry. I see that all of these young guys, they go buy these big old trucks, man. And I mean, they're cool, they're nice, but you get a Platinum, like a Ford Platinum. Yeah. 130 grand or something. And
when your jobs slow down, then what?
No, they're barely starting their company and stuff. It's like, guys, what are you doing? Like, just relax a little bit.
Yeah.
That's 2 work vehicles.
Yeah.
So we got to think you got to think at what place you're at. When you're
when you're bootstrapping a business, especially like you gotta
do not go buy a Rolls Royce.
No, you don't. You buy like I just needed to get me there. That's it, right? Yeah. And
get you a leather Nissan,
right?
Nissan with leather in it.
Exactly. You get what is going to help you accomplish the task, not what's. It's more of a need, not a want.
Yeah.
So. It took me a while to actually start spending money on stuff that I really like, just because when I had made that money, that first chunk of money with the investments, I didn't have the income to support it. I had just quit my job. I had never seen that kind of money before in my life.
Yeah.
Before then, I had saved up like 180, almost 200,000. A chingazos, like how hard it is to save that kind of.
Wow. It's hard to save $5,000 for.
Fuck, it's hard, dude.
I mean, you figure most people don't. They're check to check.
Oh, when I was in the Army, I was saving because I was deployed a lot, so I didn't have. I couldn't really spend my money. Yeah. And then I came back during the middle of one deployment. I bought a car and I was making payments on it, even though I wasn't driving it because I went back out. And it was always like that. But I always saved all my money. And, you know, with work and stuff, and you start making more money, you start spending a little bit more money. But I never wanted to be a slave to my possessions, meaning like I would have colleagues, especially in the car business was the worst. Like, you know, it's one of those things where I was in the car business when it was like still kind of like toxic and stuff, where, you know, they wanted you to incur more debt so that you would be forced to try to make more money. Yeah. Like, and they're like, go buy another Rolex, go do this, go do that. And it's like, no,
they try to keep you at the dealership.
Yeah. And it's funny because you know, I had friends that, you know, I had a friend that drove a Bentley at the time, like had no business buying a Bentley, but he would borrow fucking money from me to put gas in it. And I'm like, crazy. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, you're crazy, bro. You have this big ass mortgage, you have this big ass, like all this stuff, and you're miserable. You say you want to quit, but you can't afford to quit. And that's where I started thinking, like, man, I never want to be a hostage to a slave to basically my possessions or what I'm doing.
So what's your advice to, you know, like how much should someone save to get, man, these freaking mic stands are really irritating me.
It's going down.
But that one's messed up. Jose, we got to make sure these are right next time.
This one's pretty good.
No, it's the head though.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, but it's all right. So like you got all these young entrepreneurs or older entrepreneurs and they still making a lot of mistakes, right? What's a good, you know, because you're doing sales, you're making money, you're doing good.
Yeah.
What's a good number for them to like say, make sure you have this much money before you actually start doing something big, like a big purchase or, you know, because they do it when not enough money.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And then they put themselves in a pickle.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. When I first got my first Rolex, I financed it.
Okay.
And that was,
let's be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't smart. I was 25 years old. I had just gotten out of the military.
But did you have a family yet?
I didn't have a family.
Okay, so that's a good thing.
My rent was like $630 a month.
Yeah, very little responsibility at that time.
The payment on the Rolex was like...
The Rolex was your family.
Yeah, exactly. I wore that bitch 24/7, man. But, you know, it's... Looking back, hindsight's always 20/20. It's not necessarily like... A lot of people preach, especially with hustle culture, they're like, you know... starve now so you can feast later and all that good stuff. I agree with that to a certain extent. You still have to live life and enjoy yourself within means. Now, as far as putting a monetary value on what number they should have saved up before they splurge on something, I think it's all different. It's relative. But I do think that you should be comfortably, like me, when I was coming up, it was always like, I need to have 6 months in reserves.
Yeah.
6 months. First, it was like, I need to get 3 months in reserves. And then once I got that, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, you know what? I need to get 6 months in reserves. And then as you start growing, your bills start getting higher. Your overhead starts growing. And you're like, fuck, 6 months seems a little far, you know? And then you hit it and you're like, oh, damn, it would be so nice if I could get a year in reserves. And then you start doing it and you start doing it. But then your overhead starts growing because as you grow, you know, with you have to invest more to get the return on investment. Yeah. So it starts growing. But I think realistically, like young people out there that want to splurge on stuff, like at least 3 months. Because in 90 days you can figure something out. Hopefully. But you know, I would say 6 months is like decent. Okay. You grind it for 6 months, put away those reserves, buy yourself something nice. Not something nice where it's like you're wiping out 6 months of your reserves, but something, you know, just kind of trophies, right? I'm a guy, like, I was born in 86, so I don't even know if I'm a millennial. Technically, I'm the tail end of a millennial, or at the beginning of them.
Yeah.
But
I'm Gen X.
Yeah, I'm at the beginning. So for me, it's like I'm a millennial, but I don't really feel like I am. Like most millennials are motivated by being part of something, feeling like they belong to a team. Like I've had salespeople that are younger that, you know, I'm like, hey bro, you do this, you hit this spiff, you're going to make this much money. And they're just not excited. But if I say, hey, I'm giving away a PS5 for the top producer, oh my God, everyone's so like, they're so excited. Or like, hey, we're going to go to, you know, Pop Stroke and spend the day there, and then we'll hit the cigar lounge, and then we'll bar hop in Westgate. Like everyone gets excited. I'm like, what? Yeah. Like that's what you're excited about? Like, I mean, it's just weird. I know I'm like on a tangent, but I go back to the whole salespeople thing. A lot of salespeople are not motivated by money anymore.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But it just makes more opportunity for me, you know?
I think like, so it's a fine line, right? When you're saying what we should save, because I noticed like it's even happened to me is you kind of get stuck to where like you start in this saving mode, then you don't want to spend or invest in nothing.
Right.
Then you get in this, like if you get in that place, you're stuck.
Yep. Because it hinders you from growing.
Yeah. So you're stuck at, just say the business you're in at that level, whatever it is, the job, you're stuck because you're like, I can't spend this money. I can't, what if this, what if that?
Yep.
You're too afraid to take a risk, even if it's a small risk.
Right.
So I think find that balance and get around people like yourself or myself that are willing to take some risk, but like calculate
risk.
Okay. I'm going to lose, if I'm going to lose 30 grand, do I have the 30 grand to lose?
And am I going to die?
Yeah.
So, I've taken some pretty big, and the risk is what got you to the dance in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to constantly be taking risks. And I've taken some pretty big risks. I've lost a lot of money. I've been taken advantage of a bunch of times. I think that's probably the main one that I've learned. And I'm like slowly getting better at it. But, you know, I'm very trusting. I always think that people are going to do what they say they're going to do. And to my level of acceptance, and it doesn't happen, and you know, or people get greedy and then they end up crossing you or doing something, right? And I end up just holding a bag of shit over and over and over again. And I think that's the lesson I've learned over the years is like, you know, nobody cares more about you than you. Yeah, obviously. And you know, you have to take risks that are calculated and that are not going to put you in danger, put other people in danger, or a risk of you know, sleep basically. Yeah. So I think for young salespeople out there trying to get started and everything, they need to just be smart about their money, invest in themselves. If they're going to invest in anything, don't buy the watch, don't buy the car, you know, invest in yourself. If you're worried about having an image and trying to impress little Susie at the dance or something, like, she's probably not the girl for you anyway. Yeah, you know, that's the way I look at it.
Your investment is like a tool. Yeah. So whatever you're investing in, you're learning whatever you're learning, that's the tool. Like I always use tools as an analogy because I'm in construction, but like you basically have a toolbox of all these ideas, techniques, you know, of what you've learned. The thing is you don't want to close that toolbox, right? Right. You want to use it at the right time, the right moment, what you've learned, you know, so, you know, don't get all bound up and close that box and hide that money and, you know, be a giver. Right. You said you were in Ramadan. Now is like I'm a Christian, you know, so does Ramadan play a big part in your life? Like not Ramadan, but the religion?
Islam? Yeah. So I grew up Catholic. Like I was did my first communion, confirmation.
Well, we know you didn't grow up Islamic.
No, I didn't. Well, my paisa. And you know, it's weird. I had like experiences in Iraq and Afghanistan that kind of made me question a lot of my faith. Okay. And for a while, I wasn't really religious at all. I was a non-believer. I even got it tattooed here because if they ever caught me, they'd cut my head off. They'd have to see it one more time, you know? And I had a near-death experience that changed me forever, where I'm like, there's no way there's not a God. There's no way there's not a God. It just doesn't make sense. And so then I started questioning a lot of things, and I started studying different religions. And for me, you know, I've gone through seasons where I try to learn as much as possible. Like I know a lot about a lot, you know? I'm one of those guys that wants to know everything about as much things I can possibly know about. And religion is one of them. History is one of them. And I feel like Islam, for me, has resonated the most with me because it's a religion based off discipline, non-hypocrisy, and sacrifice. You know, praying 5 times a day, stopping everything you're doing. You know, it happened at like it happened. I mean, it's always a good time, but I've been going through it during the bad time because I'm getting my complete tattoos done. And so it's been bad. And then the gym, you know, I have to figure it out because I'm lightheaded. You don't eat.
You're not eating at all. Yeah. Right? You're fasting.
Yeah. You don't eat or drink. I broke it today because I know it's going to be here. And my mind, if I don't eat, I catch myself like my mind, I can't really articulate.
Should have took those pills, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but it's been good. Like, it's hard. I'm the only one practicing in my house, and I don't know if I'm gonna convert to being Muslim or anything. I know that my relationship, I'm becoming closer to God for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
and that's ultimately what I care about, is my spirituality and getting close to God. I don't know which version of whose God is the right one, but I know my version, and my version is my relationship with God. So
I think there's only one God.
Yeah, there's only one, but everyone's version of the story, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if the God is what changes. Is like, I feel like the person, like Jesus, that type of person.
And what's funny is in the Quran, Jesus is mentioned way more than Muhammad.
Yeah.
And it's contrary to belief, like, Jesus was very respected in Islam. It's crazy. Like, I've read the Bible, the King James Bible. I've read the Old Testament, because there's a lot of stuff that's in the Old Testament that's not in the New Testament.
Yeah.
And what I found over the years is, especially like in our industries and doing this stuff, is a lot of people use religion as a way, and I hate to say this, they use it as a way to like captivate people and relate to people. And I think that's bad. I think that's really, really bad. But most of the people that do that, I have conversations with them and they don't
understand it. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, they don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They just
you can't use religion as a weapon.
No.
Yeah, it's relationship based.
Right.
Like, I tell people, like, when they start asking me about the Bible or something like that, my wife runs our church. We've been,
That's beautiful.
I mean, I went from a really bad life, really bad, worst, to marrying a pastor's daughter.
Wow.
So like, I tell people, like, I go, think about like a Bible, and this is pretty much every religion it's a book of stories.
Yeah.
That gives you a general idea of how to live your life the
best. Gives you a blueprint.
How to live your life the best. And I mean, how easy is that, right? And so whatever religion you believe, or whatever, if you're going in, to Catholicism and you have a pope, and or you're wearing long sleeves and your wife has to wear long sleeves and a dress down to her toes, it's like whatever makes your family the best, right?
Right.
So you're doing this, and then and I hope I don't get too personal, but your wife, how many children you got?
I have 3.
And so none of them go. Do they go to church at all? Or they don't do nothing.
They don't go to church. No, they just pray at home.
You guys ever talk about this?
Me and my wife do.
Yeah.
We're more spiritual. Like, our spirituality, our connection with God.
Yeah.
Is I just organized religion just hasn't been for me.
Yeah.
I think I just haven't found my home.
Yeah.
And I've been searching for my home for years, for a very long time.
You know why I like it? Well, one is because I actually changed my ways and quit doing drugs and stuff before I ever gave myself to God. But I like it because I was able to get my kids on a right path. I tell people, like, you can either believe in nothing, you can believe in the devil, or you can believe in a God and follow that path. So that's like a thing that hangs over my kids. Like, okay, what would like they say, what would Jesus do? What would God do?
They got
Whatever.
the balance. They got the balance.
Like that little devil and angel on
our kids have children's Bibles, and
cool.
they read them every night, and it's got pictures and stuff. And I don't tell them, well, actually in the Old Testament they say, they're learning, and I want them to find their own way. And obviously we want to teach them and keep on a righteous path, because I think all religion, from what I've learned,
You're good.
From what I've learned is that all religions kind of want the same thing. And in all cultures, I've traveled around the world, in good times and bad times. And I feel like people just want the same thing. They just want to be happy. They want to provide for their families and have a good upbringing. Faith is one of those things that's extremely important. I think without faith, what are we doing? You're just kind of floating through life, hoping stuff works out. Now, of course, every now and then I'll meet people that are just like, oh, God, please help me. Please help me. Like, I feel like God will put the opportunities for you.
Yeah.
But it's up to you to capitalize on them. And a lot of people just kind of use God sometimes as a crutch of like, oh, this isn't going my way or whatever, and or God, God doesn't favor me and stuff like that. And it's just like depressing. I don't believe that. I believe that what you put out, you get back, and God will put those pieces in front of you for you, to kind of help you navigate. It's up to you. At the end of the day, we make our own choices, and while we're here, we create our own heaven and hell. I'm a firm believer in that. So I can say, oh man, I just lost this contract. This NFL player that came to my office the other day, working a deal out for 1.4 million. All of a sudden, it goes to shit. I can say this didn't happen. It actually went well, but I can say, this. Why did this happen to me, God? Blah blah blah. Like I do right. I pray every day. Like it's not always what happened to you. It happened for you. Mm-hmm. And things, if you like I said, like half glass full. Like I'm super positive 24/7. The world can just be crumbling around me, and I just always have a positive outlook. And I know that God will protect me as long as I make a conscious effort to the best of my ability to be a good person, to do right by people, and to genuinely like just care. Yeah. A lot of people are very selfish, and I realized that I've been, like I said, taken advantage of many times, and a lot of times I'm like, dang, I can't catch a break. But I learn things, and I get good. Of course, there's good that comes from it, but I think it's all perspective. It's all perspective. If you have an open mind and you're willing to open your heart, more importantly, then God will pour into you, and you will just keep evolving into a better version of yourself.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. I was just telling someone this last night at our house, and she's like, well, I'm hoping God does this for me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And she's like a niece to me. Yeah. And I'm like yelling at her. I love her. But, and I'm like, what do you mean? God, like, he gave us the freedom to make choices. Right. It's your choice to do that. Like you said, it's, and I'll say it all the time is, God can open a door, but you still got to walk through the door. Yep.
Oh, that's a bar right there.
Yeah. You still got to walk through it. And then not only that is you got to be prepared to walk through it, know where you're going, because God is only going to give us what we can handle. Right. And so if you're not preparing for what's next, for what you want to be next, how do you know it's going to be right in front of you? Yeah. You're not going to know. Right. And so it's one of those things, like you're saying, is what you put in is what you get out. What is the level of faith you're willing to have? And that means like to do something you do not really know what the outcome is going to be, right? But you really believe it's going to happen, and you're doing the work. Yeah. So you're learning, you're growing, you're studying at night, you're taking those courses.
It's gonna happen,
so you're moving, and God will open the door. But so many people, like you said, they use religion, and I meet all kinds of church people, right? Yep. And I tell my wife, I'll go off subject real quick. I go, I don't know who had the hardest life, because I was adopted, giving up all this weird shit. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. I go, I think you had a harder life than me. And she's like, well, why? And I remember telling her this. I go, because you grew up in church and you got backstabbed by everyone around you, right? And I go, at least I knew who was going to come after me. They came right to my face about a fight or whatever it was, or they stole. You knew who it was. The irony, right? You know what I mean? And then she's like, well, you're right. I go, yeah, because people use religion, and it isn't until you start doing, it isn't start attaining something, and you start to understand, like, there's more than, there's more to this. There's about planting seeds. You're planting seeds. You're gonna water a seed. You're gonna give. And it's gonna come back.
Yeah, so instant gratification is something that's plagued people forever. And I feel like now more than ever, like, people think that if it's not happening now, it's not worth it. Just with anything, with relationships, with business, with learning something. With painting, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, a lot of people just want to be a pro tomorrow, not put in the reps at the gym, like everything. And I think religion is a beautiful thing if you truly not just go through the motions, not just want for community, but genuinely want to get closer to God. So for my whole thing is like, I just want to become closer to God, right? To my creator. And I'm constantly like doing research, and I'm probably like not even researching in the right places because I'm on Reddit and all this other stuff, right? I'm getting conspiracies, I go down those rabbit holes. And at the end of the day, though, I know that there's something greater, and we didn't evolve from monkeys. Like it just didn't
or a
happen.
lizard or something.
No, it didn't happen. That's God created everything.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. You're believing for something better, and you're living in that. You're going in that direction.
Yeah,
it's hard, bro. Like life. I tell people like life's so hard. You don't even understand. It's easy to go be a drug addict. It's easy to be homeless. That's easy. You don't have to do nothing.
Right.
And then as you become better in society, it gets harder and harder. Okay, so you got a job. Now what are you gonna get a raise? Are you gonna get a promotion? Are you gonna work for that promotion? Are you gonna keep that promotion? I mean, you gotta work harder a little bit.
It's all these little side quests that keep popping up. And you're right, it does get harder. And like my one of my mentors says, new levels, new devils.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like I'm like, oh, if I can just do this, if I can just get here, everything's gonna be better. And then I get there and I'm like, oh shit, this sucks. I didn't have to deal with this back when I was at this level. Yeah. And then, like I have to figure out and navigate that. And I feel like, oh man, and I always say this, like, man, I'm just going through it. And my wife will be like, is everything good, baby? I'm like, yeah, everything's fine, mama. I'm just going through it. And then she'll be like, oh, okay, well, just remember, you're just going through it. It's like a plane when it's going through clouds and you get to turbulence, right? Yeah. It's not that scary. It's scary, but you eventually go through it, and then it's smooth sailing. I don't like to fly, but I use that analogy because it's true.
That's true. Totally
you don't have to stay in it.
You ever flown through like a storm?
Man, it's scary.
Oh my God, it's so scary.
Scary shit. It's oh man. This year too, like everything that's been going on, like with it's, I mean, of course, this stuff's been going on for years, but now everyone's posting about it and everything. It's hot, everything. I feel it's so scary, and I'm supposed to go to Europe. Well, I am going to Europe. Don't kill me. With my wife this year in July, and I'm like terrified. I'm like, oh my God,
it is like there's a lot of things going on. We went to.
I don't like flying to begin with.
We went to visit our friends and at the border of Kentucky, Ohio. And then in 3 weeks, we're going on a huge trip.
Okay.
You'll see it. I'll post it when we start to go. It's a big one. It's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 9 of us going. Well, like,
cool.
There's 6 of us. And my kids, my wife, my in-laws are going, and my son's girlfriend's going.
Oh, cool.
So I'm taking all 9 of us.
Wow.
It's a massive trip, bro.
That's awesome.
It's like 16 hours, 14 hours flight time, 2-hour layover.
Wow. So where are you going?
I don't want to say it.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to keep following and check in.
Because I was thinking of doing like some sort of like I need more followers, so I was like, maybe I'll do like some price thing, like whoever can guess.
Yeah, whoever can guess it. Yeah,
maybe they'll get like $500 or something like that.
Speaking of that, a lot of people ask me how I gained my following, and it's funny because when I tell people, they're like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't go viral on TikTok dancing during COVID or doing anything. I paid." For promos, I did a Kim Kardashian one. I did a
like she did it for you.
Yeah, so like she has a agency or somebody who represents them, and then what happens is like what she'll do is have you ever seen the giveaways where they give away a Tesla, PlayStation 5? Like I used to think those things were scams, and most people do think they're scams. I don't know if they are nowadays, but I paid for like a Floyd Mayweather giveaway and stuff, and they give away a Tesla, PlayStation 5s, all this stuff. And what'll happen is he says, okay, in order to qualify for the giveaway, you have to tag 3 friends here, comment, and follow everyone that I'm following you. So like I'll get followed by Floyd Mayweather or whatever just for that one day, and everyone will come follow you. Now, I have a lot of friends that have done it before, but they lose all their following because most people that are following, they're just trying to win the free stuff, right? So they get you there, they get you to the party, but you gotta dance, right? You gotta post content that they like, that they enjoy, that they're gonna resonate with and stay. So that's how I built my following, and then also by doing a lot of like going to events. Nation across country. Yep. And then here in Phoenix, like I have a huge following in Phoenix. I want to say 69%, 68% of my following is Phoenix.
That's a lot, because what do you have, like 300,000?
300,000 followers, yeah. And I did an audit thing because I had a bunch of fake following. So what'll happen is you'll sign up for these things and they promise you 50,000 followers. And if they only get you real quick. And if they only get you like 15,000, what they'll do is they panic and they send you a bunch of fake followers.
Yeah, and then they start dropping off.
And and it messes up your engagement too. So what'll happen is I started doing that, and I at one point had like 1.3 million, and my engagement was like, man, my reach started dropping. I'm like, dude, this isn't real. And I did some auditing thing. I hired a bunch of people to slowly delete everything. So now it's all real finally. And now my story views are up. Everything's a lot better. You know, on story views, I'll get anywhere between like 25,000 to 45,000 story views. Yeah. So and my wife will be like, "You're wasting it on posting a meme about a Chihuahua drinking a Modelo." Like, yeah, you know.
You're not doing any sponsorships?
No, I don't do any sponsored ads or anything.
Dude, we have a friend, they're really good friends. They're young, and she makes like, I don't know, 20, 30,000 a month
selling on like TikTok. Yeah, so like I started a TikTok and I got to like, I think I got like 3,000 followers just posting like me in my car or something, whatever. But the TikTok's just like a completely different thing.
But I think you can do it on Instagram too.
Yeah, so
but it's more, you got to do a lot of different products.
Different products, right? I wanted to do that. One of my mentees, she has a CBD candle business and a CBD business, and we actually like set her up a store and everything. It's doing really good on TikTok. And she's like, man, I think I'm going to do sponsored things and, you know, sell other products and just add them to like my lineup, because there's people that are making a lot. I mean, look at, you said 30,000.
And then she gets free stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Like
they'll just send it to her and be like, here, post about it.
Yeah. Try it here. They just had a baby. They're getting everything. Like she's whatever brands, the baby brands. I don't even know what they are these days, but like, it's crazy. So like, I mean, you got a lot of followers.
Yeah.
Even if you don't get paid, you get a bunch of free stuff, free jewelry.
Yep.
Yeah. You know,
so
maybe it ain't that nice, but if it's free, it's free.
Yeah. So I've gotten a lot of free stuff. Especially here in Phoenix. Like I get comped a lot of different things.
That
like,
water was free, bro.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll get like I got comped a booth, a $40,000 booth at the Arizona Super Show for my JAX WAX company.
Was this recently?
Yeah, that was like hosted by Rafi Law Group, and the Sun, because it was the Sun's booth at first. So I paid for like a $5,000 booth like up top, and when we got there, they're like, oh, my partner's like, hey, yeah, they told me I can, you know, I'm supposed to be here. And he's like, who's your partner? And he's like, oh, Tino. He's like, Shark Tino? Yeah. He's like, Shark Tino's your partner? Yes. And so he FaceTimed me, and the guy was like, hey, man, I got you, bro. He put us like in a $40,000 booth.
Nice.
And it was fucking amazing. We made a lot of sales and stuff. Restaurants as well. Like when people are like, oh, yeah, I can't hear reservations, I just go and I like comment and I tag my wife. I'm like, hey, babe, we should try this place sometime. It seems like they're always booked up, and then they'll be like, hey, we'd love to have you, and they send me a DM, and then they'll make it special. Most recently I tried Elefante. It was amazing.
Really?
That place is like 25 out of 10. Amazing. Really? Everything there was phenomenal. Matter of fact, this morning I told my wife, we went for Valentine's Day. I told her this morning, I'm like, hey, this week we need to go to lunch there.
Where's that one at?
It's at Fashion Square.
Okay.
It's right there where you valet. It's kind of hidden. And then another place that we went to was the Ends. Shouts out to the owner. Like, they treat us so good there. He came and sat with us and ate and had drinks for like 45 minutes. And
nice.
It's just really cool. I post about it. So for me, I like to post everywhere I go after I leave, obviously. And whether I like it or not, I still post about it. And it's not because I'm like trying to bash a business, but I'll say, hey, like, this is my honest opinion. I'll pay for everywhere I go. Like some places will comp me to try to pay for it, or they do half off, which is cool. But I'm still going to give my honest opinion. I'm not a food blogger or anything.
Hey, so you're like, this place sucks?
Yeah, I'll just straight up like, hey, this place sucks, you know?
Don't come here.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I won't go again because I don't want to treat me bad.
They're going to jump you go again.
Yeah. So I'm a huge foodie, like I said, constantly trying out like new restaurants. I went to Viva Tacos Viva.
Okay.
Have you been to that place?
No.
Oh my God.
Where's that one at?
It's on Indian School and 32nd Street.
Okay.
And it's funny because like on 32nd Street, on that side, you don't think like you're gonna have some good paisa food, but it's fire. It's all estilo Tijuana. Los tacos, oh my God, that place is crazy.
Yeah, it's right.
Tienen señoras making tortillas right there, and it's like
they're kind of in the middle because you got the hood a little bit west.
It's like Arcadia,
but then you got Arcadia, so you got the like little money. You got a little mixture.
It's like a mixture. It's like new money-ish. Yeah. So it's a cool spot. I live over there by the country club.
Okay.
So my office is on Central and Thomas.
Nice. Yeah, I'm in North Phoenix. I like it, man. This is good. You know. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Likewise. Thank you so much for having me. I know I talk a lot and I talk a little, but I hope somebody out there can take any little tidbit of our conversation and just kind of run.
I think we have a lot of nuggets.
Yeah.
What's one final piece we can give to the audience? Maybe a piece of advice or something like that.
I would say that you're enough. I think that's one of the main issues that people run into is like not being self-aware and knowing that they're enough, not understanding that they are who God intended them to be, and they just need to strive to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Stop seeing everything you see on social media is not real. I promise you. I've met so many heroes that I was extremely disappointed. So just know that you're enough, and no one's going to create the life for you that you want. You have to do it yourself.
Ooh, there it is. Like Shark Tino. Where can we follow you?
You can follow me at I have Shark Tino, but my main Instagram is at FTH. It's a funny story how I got that.
So at FTH.
Yeah.
That's so good. Yeah. So I just put something, that little on Instagram, the little part you can write on.
Yeah.
And I just put today. I did it is you're creating his image. We're created in his image. He's the king. We're royalty.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Hands down. You just full stop.
Bottom line. So guys out there, don't forget to like and subscribe to all of our stuff and be blessed.
Thank you guys.